Okay. Now, pause. And we're back. Welcome to Bold Movers and Shakers one more time. I'm thrilled. I'm also Alexis Ray, by the way. I am so thrilled to have Joe Gill with me today. The one and only.
The one and only. Don't tell my dad. Don't tell my dad that. Okay.
Raw and real. Okay.
He's a Joe too.
I can't wait to see that. So, Joe, tell people what it is that you do and where hashtag Raw and Real resonates with you and who else.
Sure. Thanks for having me, by the way.
Sure, I'm delighted to make it.
So I'm Joe Gill out of Groton, Massachusetts. I'm a social media marketer. Started my own company called Valuencer, so I do social media marketing consulting, content marketing consulting. You probably have seen me on LinkedIn because I'm on video a lot more than I used to be. So I got on there back in January. So
that term, you just kind of glossed through that. What's say it again?
All right, so Valuencer. So it's a play off the word influencer and value, okay? Because I think being on LinkedIn as much as I have been since January of like 18, really into it, I just saw so many people merging with video. Like people like, I'm an expert, I'm a guru, I'm this, that, and the other thing. I'm like, and there was one guy, his name is Quentin Alums. You may know who he is. He's out of Milwaukee.
Nice.
And he's just a real down-to-earth, righteous, very, humble dude that went through bad times and gone to good, and he's really real. And I'm like, dude, why are people telling what's your influence on people and all that? Because influence could be bad, right? We know history. Influence could be really bad.
Yeah. You're not wrong.
Yeah, and I'm like, why don't people just lead with value, about providing value and helping people, and then if they have a following after, that's a byproduct. Then you have your influence. Why lead with the influence? And there's been so many companies that have been caught with the influencer marketing when you get the fraudulent followers and they're paying them all this money. And, so that's how I came up with the word. People were telling me, Alexis, that I needed to copyright the word. This was summer last year. Like, you got to do it. You got to do it. And this is why I was going through bad stuff at work. And I'm like, at 4th of July morning, Independence Day, ironically enough, right?
Oddly enough, yeah.
Oddly enough. So I ended up looking into it. Like, two things came to me. One thing was a post by Lilac Bullock out of England, I believe. She put up a post, don't wait for opportunity, make it. All right, so that hit me. And Tima, she's down in Australia. I can't say her last name correctly. She pinged me. She's like, Joe, you have to copyright that word. You have to do it. And I did it. And now that's the name of my business now. So.
Okay, Valuencer. Did I say that? Okay.
Yeah, you did. Good job.
Right on.
I wrote an article about it, explained it on my LinkedIn profile. And then if you connect with me on LinkedIn, that's actually part of my welcome message. So
yes.
I'm not talking like a crazy person.
Yes. So how is it that that's actually applied in, let's say I was a client of yours.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me what that would look like. Like, you do the raw and real thing too. So we probably should marry those two because that's
sure. Yeah, sure. So, storytelling I know is kind of a very, chic word now, even though it's been around since the cavemen were drawing on walls.
Right.
You know what I mean? Everybody's like, well, give me storytelling. No, you have been since you've been alive. So, so usually when I go in, I work with a lot of different industries. I usually go in and just see what they're doing, right? Kind of what they're doing, great, and try to dovetail off that and things they need to work on, right? So, and not talk about themselves all the time. It's about, there's an 80-20 rule, right? You probably know it too, being in marketing. 80% of the time you would talk about value-add content that's going to help your customer.
Yeah. And
then 20% you talk about yourself.
Okay. Right? So with that in mind, how do you tell a story that fits that 80-20? Because stories, immediately my mind goes to, well, let me tell you a story, about
right.
And it becomes something about, personal, about me. So telling us a company's story, a brand story?
Yeah, I mean, I think one of the big things is that people need to humanize their brand and just show like the people that work for the company, right?
Yes.
Like the people in the trenches, the people that you should respect the most because they're like, I used to be in customer service. One time I worked for a company which they just started selling this phone services way back in the day. But I took like 110 phone calls one day. And but this is the thing, Alex. This is your line of defense. This is the people that they're calling to complain about that you're the one. You could win that battle for them. You could make them become a fan rather than become a detractor, right?
Yes.
So that's the way you tell the stories, right? You tell the stories about your customers. Put it on them. You have the biggest. You know Mad Men, right? Focus groups, how they had, the women or the men in a room, they give the product and they write all down the notes.
Yeah.
We have the biggest focus group at our hands. It's infinite, right? This is why it blows my mind that more people don't leverage their audiences to see where they should take their company. I've read a book called Growth Hacking, and they talked about that, how they would just, put the product out and see what people thought.
Split
and then
test.
adjust. Try it, fix it, try it.
Yep.
So that's kind of the way I want people to tell the stories. Like, how are you helping others? And it's not saying, well, you got to buy my stuff. I don't, that's great. I want to work with you because I like you, respect you, and trust you. That's how it should be. That's what you need to establish. And that's why I tell people when social media, they think it's a magic bullet or pixie dust or, voodoo. It's not. It's not. It's about, I call it like being a farmer. I know I'm talking a lot. I can already tell.
No, you're fine. Bring it.
And like being a farmer, right? So this is one of my raw reels. It's like you're going to plant that seed, right? The idea, the solution. You're going to nurture that relationship. And then in time, you'll harvest that crop, right? You bring it to the farmer's market, sell it. It's not fast food. You're not going in and getting crappy fries and a burger. You feel good, then you go home, you feel horrible. So does it really help you in the long run? No.
Right.
That's how I can compare it,
I like it. So you're giving a multifaceted view of what a company is about. That's the story. Okay.
Absolutely. I mean,
Got it.
in the past lives, I kind of, talked about how we should promote the company, why you should work here. I've had enough jobs, so now I know why you should work at certain companies and shouldn't, because you spend more time in a job than you do with your family, and that's the employer brand is very, very important as well as your personal brand or the company brand. It's about brand building that's transparent, right, and real and genuine. There's no, smoke and mirrors or guy behind the curtain.
The Wizard of Oz. So when you mentioned that word personal branding, that's a pretty big buzzword at the moment.
Buzzword too, yeah.
How do you define that for somebody or a company?
Well, just kind of like I said, it's kind of just be yourself. Don't hide behind masks and corporate walls and ivory towers. That's my whole thing. It's just like I have it on my profile as well. It's like I'm a blue collar guy in a white collar world. My dad was a construction worker.
Yeah.
And he always put me in the yard to dig fence posts and help put in engines, and I sucked at it. But I did respect the work ethic, right?
Yeah.
And regardless of any job I've ever been at, it's always like they hired you. You owe them at least to put in a good 40 to 45 hour, 50 hour effort. Do you know what I mean? That's just how I am. I don't know why, but just being a regular person. I mean, now that have a screen in front of you, why should you be different? You shouldn't be different unless you're an actor and actress in Hollywood. That's your job, to be different than other people.
And when you say, are you referring to the figurehead of the company? Are you referring to just
everybody?
Everybody. And the reason I asked that, Joe, is because, and we didn't talk about this yet, is that I've worked as an executive like a neutral third party sounding board.
Cool.
Yeah. The other word is confidant.
Right.
And that's not a bad word. Like,
I know it's not.
It's just people are like, you do what? It's like, come on now. I'm not in stripper heels and a short skirt,
Right. I know, friend. I'm a friend. Hello.
Right. And it matters that person that's heading everything up. Because I did, let me just do a sidebar real quick. The story or statistics or whatever go, the reason people bond at work, you know what the reason is? Problems.
It's very true. That's true.
They bond over problems.
Yeah, they rally. Yeah, absolutely.
Exactly. Now their manager doesn't have that privilege. He can't just plunk down and bitch about work. And then you take it up another level. His manager sure as hell can't do that. He can't do it with managers. And then you take it up another level, and you've got the guy sitting behind the desk with the dream who feels like a prisoner of his own creation because he can't say anything to anybody because they're all looking to either, jump him or kiss his butt as yes men. Oh, sure, that's a great idea.
Yeah. I'm definitely not a yes man, that's for sure.
And so then what happens is the symptoms of isolation and loneliness, and that actually skews judgment. It makes a person paranoid. It affects their health. Like,
shortened lifespan.
Like, it's serious. And then, you know, I'm listening to you and it's like, you know, man, just come on in and be real. It's like,
Well, it's the same thing. Like,
can I be? You know, can I be? And that's why I just,
well,
you know.
I mean, you're rocking the Nirvana shirt, I'm rocking the Zeppelin shirt. It's about musicians, like, or actors, like Robin Williams. Yeah. He was like one of the most popular actors, very beloved. He was very lonely. Yeah. Super lonely, right? And like musicians, the same way. I think Chris Cornell, the same thing with Soundgarden. He was the same way. You could be the most famous person or the most money, but you may be very super unhappy, right? So to me, I think it takes more to ask for help than not. I think you're braver to ask for it. It doesn't show you're weak.
It's not a sign of weakness. I agree.
No. In the corporate world, personal life, whatever. Just ask for help. And I bet both spheres, right? Personal and professional. I talk to friends. I used to be the kid that never talked. It was always things kept in, and that was just basically poison, right? To the soil, right? To the soul, not the soil. To the soul. But now I'm the guy who doesn't – I have social anxiety, believe it or not. That I have a hard time talking to people I don't know, but I am getting out of my comfort zone and growing and have my first speaking engagement. So –
What?
Yeah, I linked a local boss, and I was on a panel talking about rebranding.
Oh, that's right. I saw your picture on the poster.
Thank you. Yes.
That was a bold move for you then, if you were forming.
That was So that was kind of one of the questions you have is bold move. That was super bold move. So I ended up. I know we're kind of going around, but
no, don't matter. Let's roll.
So linked a local boss, and after I got involved in the community, like I said, my old sports marketing events I have is kind of very similar to. So I want to get involved in this event. So Mark Metry, who you may follow, got me contacted. Her name is Omama, a really awesome gal that I work with. But I want to get involved with this so I could because I'm really bad at networking events.
Okay.
Like I would be the one that would walk in, say hi to one or two people I know, and just stay with them.
Yep.
And not branch out. Or if I knew nobody, I'd get a beer and be in the corner. You same thing?
One back against the wall. My back against the wall, 1 foot out the door, man. Just
wallflower. Yep.
I'm ready. I got to go. I'm not in the middle of this at all. It's very uncomfortable.
Yeah.
I found ways to get around that. You can learn.
Yeah, but being a host, you're the host. People are going to come talk to you because you're the host. You have to be there, and being up in a panel, you have to be there too. So that really helped me because I know, even though in my mid-40s, that's something I have to get over or try to get out over eventually. So I know I really kind of see my weaknesses. I really try to make them into strengths. You know what I mean? So.
You know something? I'm glad you brought it up that way. First of all, bravo. I mean, to go from feeling like, social anxiety, that's a real thing. Feeling alone in a crowd sucks. Been there, done that. I was in a field full of 400 happy people, and I was in the corner reading my book. And,
Right.
I mean, what am I going to do? Bust in on their group and go, hey, it's so awkward. What do you do? It's really, really unnerving. I'll just stay home. Thanks. It's awful.
But you know what's great though is that I think the LinkedIn platform, I call it like a digital icebreaker, right? Because you get to know someone through their content before you meet them. So you're not going in there cold turkey, right? Which I find is very hard for me to do. Like if I don't know anything about you, I'm not gonna be like, oh, how the Red Sox doing? Like I just do you know what I mean? I just can't but if I go in and say, hey, well, Alex, I saw that post you did, or I saw that podcast you did with so-and-so. Then we already have something to talk about.
Yeah. So I've actually helped an introvert come out of his shell and some other people, and they need to just as much as everybody else, whether they're, nerdy, IT, whatever, I don't care. And they have to go out and rep a company. And so it forced me to think of some clever ways. And so I looked at what I was doing and I said, okay, all right, here's what you do. You find somebody else who's kind of like you. They're at the back of the room, and you don't walk up to them and do this, name badge. Hey, I'm from State Farm.
I know, no business card.
You actually come up to the side of them, and you go, and you kind of look at them. You kind of look around. And you go, so aside from coming for the free food, what brought you here? And
or stay at the food table. You stay at the food table. Everybody tells me that, or near the beer, or whatever.
Yeah. Or standing at the bank. Aside from hanging out in long lines, what's fun for you? And
that's a good line. There you go.
Yeah, and I'm full of it, and it just breaks down. It breaks down the walls, and then instantly you've got somebody talking about themselves, and then it just works right from there. And then when you do the follow-up, you can refer to that conversation, and it wasn't about State Farm's latest whatever. I don't mean to pick on State Farm, y'all. So
Right. But you gotta have that dam break, and when it breaks, then everything's good.
And that's the way you do it. I remember sidling up to a woman, and I said, "I'm, how long you been in Knoxville or whatever? Not long, and I'm looking for places to volunteer." Oh, I could tell it. Great, and it just starts into personal, right there. That's how you do it, and then it's the only way to build rapport.
Well, I mean, it's what's awesome about the good things about technology. We all know about the bad things. Is that you are able to connect with so many people across the world now that you ever could before.
Yes.
And now people get to see who you are through your content and all that stuff. And people just generally want to help you or help you get ahead or do things for you, or vice versa, right?
Yeah.
I kind of do a thing on Friday called like Valuencers Unite, not stealing anything from the Avengers or anything, but like, tell me what you accomplished this week. What value did you bring this week? How did people bring value back to you? And I was talking with one of my former coworkers. He brought a social media lead to me, and then all the people from LinkedIn Local who saw that movement brought value to so many people. And I brought value to my client because I put a social media account together, and they never had one. Stuff like that. I just think we need to celebrate everybody our victories and achievements together, rather than just stepping on people and making them feel worse. I mean, I don't know. I'm not trying to get all It's just the way the world is right now. It just seems like people just love chaos and just love to put people down rather than. I had a good conversation with someone on this platform talking about people concentrating more on the problem than trying to fix it, and that's the I just find that mind blowing. Let's work it out. Let's talk it out and get it done. Let's not beat the problem to death. Let's help me think on that.
Yeah, no. I'm glad you brought it up because I've been doing some studies on narcissism.
Oh, really?
Because there's a lot of them.
Do tell.
Yeah.
I've known some people like that in my life. Yeah.
There's a lot of them.
Mm-hmm.
And beware the charm. Beware the charm. Because it's there. But I want to give a little background on it. And what I've studied lately is that I feel bad for them, poor bub. They are actually infants who were deprived of emotional caregiving.
Right.
So they have this, their brain doesn't develop properly.
Oh, really?
Yeah, there's no fixing this. It can be treated.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't even know what that looks like yet. There's no fixing it.
Right.
So there's two main qualities to look out for. First one is the charm. And the reason that that's been developed as an infant is because they're in an environment they're subjected to, they've got to survive. And so whatever can be done to get through this, the charm, turn on the charm. There's a big difference between being charming and being charismatic. Sure. So because charm is for the scenario and charismatic is just who you are. You can come in a room. And the other part is they avoid connection. So they're going to push people away because the message they got is that it's dangerous to be connected to somebody. And, and there's some jacked up things that are happening in their brain, and maybe it can be fixed with super cold showers. I don't know. That thing's like really, that's like changing people's lives.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Cold shower thing. So what we have then is the narcissist can never accept that there might have anything to do with any kind of issue. They will divert, redirect, whatever they can do so that they stay in a state of perfection and flawlessness, because somewhere in there, in deep-seated stuff, is a real fear. And it's not going to be fixed. All a person can do is recognize it, go, okay, and back the fuck away. Go, bye. And it's true.
Rather than deal with the head on, they rather just avoid adversity.
You can't. It is like trying, if you look at it like it's really kind of like a mental illness. That's how I'm putting it. Because in other categories, if someone had a lack of empathy, they'd be labeled not psycho.
Sociopath? No.
Thank you. Yes.
Oh, okay.
Because they lack.
Maybe with a big word.
Yeah, $10 word, $5 crowd.
Right.
And they would literally be, have additional criminal charges on them because you lack a human factor that we all have. Well, narcissists do too, because they can't do it. It was something that happened a long time ago. They really never developed something. They don't even know it. But so I have developed, have you ever seen a kiwi fruit? Sure you have. Those little tiny hairs on them?
Yeah.
That's how fine my freaking radar is for it. And there's yeah, and that's
Spider-Man. There you go. Yeah.
you've got to have that up, because otherwise it lets them get in and they're going to just run right over you.
Yeah.
And so those people that you're talking about, I mean, you know, they'll kick you when you're down. That way they can step on your back. It's a higher step. They have zero compassion, empathy, apathy, nothing. They're apathetic as hell, and it will always be that way.
But,
so
I do. I agree. Yes, I agree. The people I talk to, I'm not going to say who exactly, but sometimes they finally got, they finally see the light. Some of them finally see the light and know that they've done wrong for so many years or what have you. And that just happened to me personally. And I'm happy that person did that. Now we can continue on down the line here. So many years left he has in his life, so. Just
don't forget that you're still dealing with.
Oh, no.
You know what I mean? Because,
no.
So what happens, Joe, is that the other spectrum is they draw in the people pleasers and the approval seekers. And and I know what it looks like because I'm in the group, or was. How else are you gonna know? You have to be it to see it. So anyway, so it's natural for them to want to just bend over backwards. Hang on, Mr. Narcissist. I'm sure I can, do that backward flip, fast enough through a ring of fire, and maybe I'll, be awarded something like affection. So everybody's trying to do something to fill a hole that they have.
Yes. Yeah.
And only if, by being aware that there's a freaking hole, accepting that there's a hole, and then taking action on the hole, can we get change, So I do have hope for it. It's just still looking at the core of that person and realizing that that's still a scorpion. Okay.
Well, I mean, now with, like I said, with technology, people just getting into like comparing themselves and, thinking they have to be like everybody else and just, always comparing, because now you know what everybody else does. That's a terrible part of social media too, is that's the thing, like Instagram, the Instagram models and all that stuff. Oh, I got to look like him or her. I got to be cut. No, you don't. Be yourself. I mean, that's just crazy seeing people with kids and all the stuff going on with them too, and even in younger ages too, that going through stuff with the bullying and all that. It's just insane.
The bullying part, I don't even want to start that conversation. It's sad to me.
Yeah, I know, me too.
The blessing of being able to try on stuff like, oh, I need to look like this, is that later you realize you don't. And that's just what life is. I happen to have a theory that at the degree of darkness and despair, like the ball of, it has an equivalent light on the other side. Like, this is pure physics. This is science.
Right.
I love it. When spirit and science meet, woo, we're good. And if you just realize, like, as jacked up as it is right now, whoever it is, the opposite and equivalent is waiting for you. If you just realize that's
let it happen, embrace it. Yeah, absolutely.
Yes,
I completely agree. No, I completely agree. So
it's not a life sentence. It's not.
Just be yourself. I mean, I think be yourself, and personally, professionally, be the same person. You shouldn't have to change. I think if you're in a situation at a company and you have to be someone else, like I was told at one of my past jobs that I went from the rah-rah guy, let's go out and get you out of your desk, let's go to lunch, grab a coffee, to dude that put his headphones on and just try to get through every day. And I knew when I was that guy, that was not me.
You were being attacked.
Yeah, and we talked about it, but yeah, it was just
if you're in an environment like that, you've got
it's a toxic environment. You need to get out of it. I did. Like I said, now going on my own, much happier. I'm not making the money I used to be making, but guess what? Money is not everything.
Nope.
Definitely not.
Nope.
But like I said, it was a good experience. I mean, I met a lot of great people, and looking in a good light, I learned a lot. Learned a lot just from a professional standpoint, just from a application work standpoint. That I did very well. I killed it again, and I did what I had to do, and then learned what red flags there are and get out of that situation. So.
Well, yeah.
Keep evolving, Alexis.
That's good, because I want to comment to that, because we are always evolving. Every single day we're different from the day before. So that's on a micro scale. But, a lot of people, Joe, they're like, scared. I'm scared to change, or I'm scared to come out, or I'm scared. You've been changing your whole life. You had to change to be who you are right now. So you can make another little adjustment and, hey, that's change. And you've been doing it all along, Bunky. There's nothing to be afraid of,
I got so this sounds
Go.
stupid, but
Go.
middle school, okay.
Yeah.
Really like this girl. I wasn't a popular kid in school at all. Okay, nerd, got bullied and stuff, bad things. But I remember a girl, kind of semi-popular girl. I asked her out, and she's like, "Oh yeah, well, unless you, I only go out with you unless you change." And I'm like, "Nope, see you later, peace out." Like even in junior high back in the 80s and 90s,
Yeah.
change. Even then, I'm like, no, if you don't. I have multiple people in my life tell me too. At the beginning, Joe, I could not stand you, but now I know over time that you have the biggest heart, and I'm so happy that we're friends. And not, it's true because I'm a loud guy if I know you and stuff like this. I like to have fun and be the clown, and yada yada yada. But I kind of like I'll be there for you if you need something. Don't worry about me. I'm there for you at all times. That's just how I am as a person because I surrounded myself with great people and made my life great. And that's the way we should be for each other. I don't mean to get all rah-rah shish kumbah, but I mean,
hey, you're welcome to.
It just needs to be more of that. I try to instill. I have a 6-year-old son, almost 6, and I try to instill those values in him now. He even got. Believe it or not, I have to tell a quick story, but
go.
Kids making fun of kids in school, not good. You don't do it. I don't condone it at all, but to the point where they use the word bullying, and I'm like, well, when I got bullied, that was like very minute compared to what I went through. But I told him, I go, your daddy was that kid that you made fun of, okay? That your daddy was the kid that you made feel, uncomfortable, not happy. So I want you to know that is not, because that was the first time I felt disappointed in my kid ever. And it's only been 6 years, but you get mad and angry and get upset, but you don't get disappointed. I'm not mad. I'm disappointed. It's the worst thing ever to hear.
It's the worst thing to have it.
Yeah, and and I just try to teach him. I go, I want you to write that boy an apology note, and I want you to bring it in and give it to him and see where it goes. And then that day he comes home from school. My wife's like, "Tell your daddy what happened to him." I'm thinking, all right, you got the note, everything was good. Oh, I got sent to the principal's office again. I go, what are you talking about? He goes, oh, because they played a video and he was talking and he stuttered and I laughed again. And they sent him to the principal's office. So he had to write another note. And I'm like, all right, hopefully you learned your lesson, dude. I hope you learned your lesson. But it's just, we're hypersensitive now. I'm not, like, again, not condoning what he did. But to call it what they did, it's kind of like, you have to check it out.
Oh my God, it's getting ridiculous.
Yeah, and even the people said to me, like, I know this is kind of we don't think it's this, but people say it, and then, but again, it doesn't matter if it's making fun of somebody at 5, 6. I'm like, I couldn't believe this goes on in kindergarten. Are you kidding me? I was still taking naps and playing in the water table and playing in the sand. I wasn't worried about making fun of kids and whatever.
Right.
Right. But we got to teach the kids early. That's what I'm trying to do. Teach them early. That stuff's not good. You don't do that. Okay.
Yeah.
My wife's Filipino, right? So he's biracial. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's where people tend to make fun of people too, because they don't look like everybody else. So I go, you got to learn not to be that person that's going to be a bad influence on people. I don't want that at all. Be that Valuencer. Bring that value.
Yeah. Right.
Kid.
Yeah, and the hardest part, Joe, is that he's not gonna fit in with the kid that's being made fun of, and if he doesn't go along with the kids that are making fun,
I know it's tough. Yep.
Where does he fit?
It's right with the wrong pack. I know, and that's crazy that's happening now. And then it's just the technology. Everybody's on their iPhones or their iPads, and they're not talking to each other. It's just, and I'm a big pro. As we talked about, I love the social media and the technology part of it.
Yeah.
But the good parts of it, because that's all bad. Like that's personally, my son's not getting a phone until I don't know how old he's going to be, 14, 15. See how long that goes. And
have it. You said it. You heard it here first, guys.
you'll. I know, right? Write that down. And you'll like this one. This is another good story.
Yeah, go for it.
We're going to Vermont, 3-hour ride from here, 3.5-hour ride. And my wife's friend says to her, "What's your son going to do for 3.5 hours if he doesn't have an iPhone or anything?" She's like, read a book, color, look out the window like we did. Like,
wow.
Is that crazy? That's absolutely blows my mind. What are we going to do? Use your imagination.
Man, that's shocking to me.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't mean to sound like I'm judging it at all, but like, is that really the limitation of offers that you have or ideas that you have for your kid?
I see a lot of it, and my wife yells at me once in a while, put the phone down, and I'm like, but it's just like going to restaurants, seeing people like this and not even talking to each other. It's like, holy shit! Why? I went to a I went to a bar with my buddy and seen a band, and I saw all the teenage, I mean, no, early 20s evidently if they're at the bar, hopefully. Women just texting each other and not even looking at each other, and they're all at the bar. Like, why are you even here together? It blows my mind.
Yeah. There's actually a class in eye contact at West Point Academy because.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it's really that bad. So hopefully, the pendulum can swing, and then we can go, hey, hang on, that was way too far. Let's come back to here.
Right. I mean, like, if they do something good, reward them with that time to play. You go on go on that or something like that. Don't just. It's not a babysitter. I mean, it's just not. That's just. And I'm not. People parent their own way, have their own situations, and I'm not trying to be holier than thou. But my personal opinion is just like, if you just throw on them technology just because you don't want to deal with it, that's not making anybody better.
Yeah, and if that's that's the root of least resistance, and that is for harried parents or whatever, that's the easiest thing to do is let it be the babysitter, root of least resistance. And if they're going to do that, I'm just making this up right now, Joe. What if there was just sort of a debriefing at the end of the day, and just like, what did you see on social media today that you liked?
That'd be amazing. Yeah, that'd be good.
And what bothered you? I think that needs to happen.
Absolutely. Like they had that Momo something or another, that suicide thing going around. Did you hear about that? I don't know what it was, but
no.
Yeah, it was some God, I heard kind of hearsay, but my friend's daughter said that to him and said her friend was crying about all this because it's some stupid thing. I think that was the name of it. I gotta look it up. It's called some doll or something in some weird video. But and I'm just like, how is this stuff going around? Why are kids at 8, 9 years old seeing this stuff is beyond me.
Yeah.
But the video games and TV and everything else aren't great either. So I'm not gonna, I can't put it all on the social, but it's just like, let's look at the good stuff, like the stuff we're doing, like the stuff that going on LinkedIn trying to help somebody, make their career better or helping them with personal branding or just like helping them out of a bad time. Like I had one guy tell me after I did my video about being bullied as a kid, he's like, dude, that helped me out so much. And I appreciate it. That's my story too. And I'm so happy you talked. And I had a couple of people said, you should take that talk and go to schools about it. And I'm like,
yeah.
Sometimes you're like, oh, whatever. And they're like, no, you really should,
Yeah.
I used to get tied up in the woods. I used to, my kids, I used to get wrapped in electrical tape, left in the middle of a street. True story. When one of my other younger friend neighbors, I'm like, get me scissors. I had to cut myself out of scissors. Got beat up in homeroom. Like, this is stuff that's bullying me. That's bullying me.
My God, that's horrible.
Oh yeah, bad stuff. And
how did you not grow up and just end up in prison out of anger?
I know, right? But what I learned, Alexis, is like all that shit that happened to me then got me ready for all the shit that's going to happen to me later.
I love that. You want to look for
it's good, losing jobs, cancer, all this stuff. And I'm like, my buddy, I did a video on this, but my buddy, when I was like at 16, 17 years old saying, I hate life and I don't want to do it anymore, if you know what I mean. And he's like, I'll spit in your grave, kid. I'll do it. And that woke me up like, whoa, that's my best friend since I was born. And he told me that. So I was like, that's not the way to go. It's not the way to go. So I turned it around and I just made friends in other towns and made friends at work. Even though I had 100 different jobs, I had friends from every job. So I kind of, the good part of that is if you get laid off and stuff like that, look at the people you met at those jobs that you're still friends with. I have like friends with bosses I've still had and all this stuff. So those are the good things. Look at that. There's a good side to everything, right?
Well, there is if you look for it.
Yeah. It's like you said, you got the dark orb and then you got the light one behind it. So
it's waiting for recognition, and usually that takes action. And so I'm really fascinated, Joe, that you were able to go from, that's messed up what they did.
It is messed up stuff. My dad almost knocked out a few parents because of that.
I can't even imagine. I can't even imagine how helpless and mad and how you not grow into just this vindictive
person. Yeah, but you know what? Bringing back negative energy after getting negative energy, what's it going to help anybody?
Right. Well, clearly, did you play sports?
Not well. I play. You want to hear? I got a story for everything. I never played. I never played football, right? So Pop Warner. So I came out in freshman football, brought my gear on. And this is bullying in a way, too, if you think about it. Put my gear on. The gear's all screwed up. I didn't have it on right. The coaches take me over to a varsity and said, he's ready. And they all laughed at me and all that. And I quit 2 days later.
Oh, that's heartbreaking.
So that tells you that's bullying, too, by an adult to a kid, right?
Yeah.
So, I played street hockey with my buddies and stuff. Got multiple injuries from that, believe it or not. But yeah, so I mean, I love sports, a big hockey, football fan, and stuff like that. And really, those stories I see, my teams winning, or just how they get together and persevere and beat the odds, is just something I truly love. I love the sports.
Yeah. Right on.
You know what I mean? So. Did
you have support at home when you came home from being?
Oh yeah, my mom and dad. When it came to that, unbelievable. My mother's. Man, I think you had a note here. Heroes. It's my mom and my wife. I mean.
What? That's awesome.
No doubt about it. Oh yeah, my mother went through so much. My mother to this day. I'm in my mid-40s. She's in her 70s now. It's like always. We always thought we were younger. She's the one that was always up, on us and all this stuff. But she put us through college. Okay, she never went to college. My extended huge family, I was the first one in my extended family to go to college. Both my sisters went to Boston University, right?
Wow.
So that's a success there alone, right?
Yeah, it is.
To push us through school, my parents got divorced, messy divorce, not good. But she fought through that. She's been a good guy now she's with. And she's just phenomenal mother, phenomenal grandmother. Can't say enough. And then my wife is the one who equals me out. Okay, I'm the loud, boisterous one. She's more the quiet one. She's the one who does the bills. She got the money, trying to figure the money and all that stuff. And she grounds me, and I ground her too. Like, have some fun. I'm that guy. Have a little more fun. And she's like, well, you got to take these a little more seriously. So we kind of, even each other out. So yeah, those two are the people are heroes to me for sure. I mean, like I said, she came from the Philippines. No friend. I have one friend over here. The girl she came over with. Sent money back home to her family so they could put her sisters through school. And that stuff blows your mind because being here in the States, we don't think that way, right? We usually you're out at 18, see you later. You're not sending money back to your parents.
No, completely different.
Yeah, so it's I got good people in my life, right? And the people that aren't in it anymore.
that in itself is a bold move. Because if a person feels desperate inside, often somebody who's been abused, and especially those who've been sexually abused, they're desperate for love at any price.
Right.
And are willing to be, rode over and backed up on, and then even denied. I didn't do that to you. You did. Nope, didn't. And then they just fuck. Might as well just. I don't know. It just goes to the spiral. It's like insanity. It goes over and over again, right? Yeah. So we were just talking about this last night. Sean Douglas is a speaker, and he's also military. He's real military. Yeah. Sean is
he's the best. Those are heroes too. Every day.
And he's boot camp boy. And the show that we did, I call how Sean Douglas turned a chip into a diamond, because he had a hell of a chip on his shoulders, and getting beat up and shit by his stepdad, and I mean just a lot of angry, and he's been able to transmute that into something else.
Right.
What we were talking about is he's like, why are there so many people pleasers? They won't take any action. And then so I brought up the fact that they usually attract a narcissist who gets to be right about everything, and people pleaser goes, okay, yeah, will you love me if I say yes? So there's this real codependent, weird, toxic dynamic that has to be broken. But what you have to do, not you, Joe, but what has to be done is often the people pleaser, for instance, has never seen what a supportive person looks like.
Yeah.
The victim of abuse, they're survivors of something, and it's normal. Pain is their normal, and so they don't even know what else there is. And beliefs can make us blind. If you believe that ketchup bottle is supposed to be purple and it's pink, the next time you go to buy it, you won't even see it. Beliefs can make us blind.
Well, I think my social anxiety stemmed from all the bullying when I was a kid because I just didn't trust people.
God, how could you? Yeah.
I tried, like I said, I'm trying to get out of that even at this age, But like I said, as we all say, it's like you take silver linings in every dark cloud. You just got to find them, right? You just got to find them. And I think that's what I've tried to do. I try to find them.
Yeah.
Because there's been a lot of storm clouds coming. And, you know, you just got to keep rowing. You got to keep rowing through the storm, right?
Yeah. I like the expression that says it's not just you can choose to weather the storm or dance in the rain. And, you know, I like to dance. So
I
that
like
was
to,
my outlet.
you know.
But yeah, it is really, though, realizing that it doesn't always have to be this way. And it's hard for somebody who's been broken inside. You're very fortunate that you had some support when you came home.
Oh yeah, for sure. And like, you know, and I dealt with a lot of physical stuff, injuries and illnesses and cancer and everything else. And so again, and I say this too, it's like, you know, the soul is greater than the body. You just got to keep going because, you know.
So Joe, a lot of people say, oh, cancer was the greatest thing that ever happened to me. I don't know their story, and that's personal. It's, you know, subjective.
Yeah.
How was this for you? How I mean.
Scared shitless. It makes you realize life is extremely fragile. Not to sound cliche, but it does. You know, at that point, I had a 2-year-old son. I had a tumor in the neck the size of a friggin' golf ball. But you know, and what was, and the people at my work, you know, what we did with that. You know, how I dealt with that, Alexis. I dealt with it with laughter and humor. We named it. We named the tumor. I think his name is Ed, and all this stuff. We laughed about it. You know,
his name is Mr. Ed.
Yeah, like it was like something from Family Guy. I guess there was a skit he had thrown out his neck. So that was the way I dealt with stuff because that's the only way I could. It's like laughing at it and just because if you just dwell on it, you're screwed. I mean, I was in my boss's office crying. I mean, I'm not gonna lie because I couldn't sit down because it was pressing on my neck. I couldn't stand. It was a nightmare, right? So,
oh man,
yeah, it was terrible. And one of my buddies, great guy, you could tell when good people come to the forefront in bad situations. Because like I just needed one of those, you know, the desk you stand up just to work. Yes. I didn't have one, but I couldn't wait like 2 weeks to get one. And you know, when they order it, and he gave me his like right away. He's like, I kind of knew him. And you know we've been friends since we worked together. He's moved to Texas since then, and then back in like 3 months ago, it was me and another woman I work with. She ended up getting breast cancer, and he ran for us in his race down in Texas for us. He wrote down the board.
Oh, how touching is that?
Yeah, good cat. He's a good guy.
Wow.
Tony Pataki. I'll drop his name. Good cat.
Yeah, man. Shout out to Tony.
Yeah, good cat. Yeah, that stuff is just like, wow. You know, you impact people, and you know people impact you, and that's what it's all about. That's your brand, right? Be impactful. Period. You know.
Yeah.
But what I learned from it, like I said, is that I wasn't gonna let that thing beat me. I look back, like you probably see that app Time Hop, where they go back in your old social media posts. And I looked back at them, and it said, you know, I was right. This is not going to beat me. I'm not going to give into this. I saw a quote, you know, I had cancer, but cancer never had me.
Like that.
You know, and even my friend told me that my friend's wife had breast cancer, and I haven't, you know, you move away, you fall out of touch, whatever.
Sure.
And he told me, he's like, our friend's wife said to him, he's like, you know, Joe Gill was reaching out to me all the time, if I want to talk or anything, and some of the closest people in my life right now didn't reach out to me at all.
That's devastating.
Blows my mind. Yeah, it happened to me. Some people, my friends, and some people in my family too, didn't reach out to me. You're like, what? You know what?
What do you do with that afterwards? You know, what do you do with that afterwards? It's like, oh, hang on, I was there.
I didn't know, or this, or I didn't know what to say. You know what? Say anything.
Yeah, man.
But but there were other people there, like that guy Tony. I told you they were texting when I got out of surgery, and they were, those are the people that you like up here with. You know what I mean?
Oh, see, yeah, right on.
Yeah. So, but like I said, it made me appreciate it. Like I said, I don't complain as much about stuff. I'm less, anxious about stuff. I try to think more. Have more patience and everything because, like I said, thyroid, well, that's the best cancer to have. And no, none. But, It's all contained, but stage 3 period is not good. Okay, my surgeon said he was a Mass General, one of the best surgeons. People flying from Canada to see him, like West Coast Canada, everything to see him. He said my first surgery. He said to my wife, "This is one of the hardest ones I ever did," and he's done thousands.
Wow.
Because it had its own blood supply. It was supposed to take 2 hours. It took 4.
Wow.
And and then I had to get the other side. I had to get taken over. That was like candy compared to the other one. But yeah, that's scary. That was legit scary crap. That was like nightmare scenario.
Yeah. Yeah, no doubt.
But the line, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger is true. I really believe that's true.
It depends on the person.
Yeah, well, if you don't allow it to be true,
change, but that doesn't necessarily mean you're stronger.
Well, I think if you mentally give up, you're done.
Yeah.
Done for. I think you're done for. I think there are people that you see people that have recovered and they're like, we thought there was no way this person's going to live.
Yeah.
But then if you give up and you mail it in, you're done. You're just done. I think, but like, I've had people, you hear people that try to get pregnant and they give up and then they get pregnant.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because they relax and let life happen. So, I mean,
yeah. Well,
wow, we talked about everything, didn't we?
Yeah, what other problems do we have to solve here?
I know. Let's do it. Bring them on.
So I love that you've become a more patient person. How does that show up for you? Is it like with your son, with yourself?
My son, perfect baby, 8, didn't cry, all this stuff. And they're like, wait till he becomes a toddler. I'm like, sure, whatever. Woohoo. I try, but the thing is, even if I do get upset or angry or whatever, I try to realize that that's not the best way to deal with it. Do you know what I mean? And try to step back and just say, my wife said, like, one of my best friends goes, you know what? He acts up, you take a toy and you said, you got to throw it away. They lose their mind over that.
They do.
They're like, oh, God, you're taking my toy. No.
Yes.
I won't listen to you, but if you take my toy, things change.
Yeah.
Or, you go to bed earlier and you try not to yell and all that stuff. But it's so, God, like, I don't,
Oh, look at the smile on your face right now. For those who only have audio, you don't see this big, proud papa smile right now.
Oh, yeah. I love my dad. But the only funny time is Alexa's that. And I've talked to many other parents. It's like the one place the children will not leave you alone is the bathroom. Like,
what?
Oh, yeah. Like, how long are you going to be in there, Daddy? How, 5 minutes, 10 minutes? I go, if I knew how long I was going to be in here, I'd probably win the lottery, too, because I would be able to, you know what I mean? How long are you being there? And then he'd stick his fingers under the door. He'd be like, I go, bro, can you just please, God, just let me go to the bathroom. Just leave me alone. Oh, come on, Dad. And then multiple parents say, oh, yeah, me too. Oh, yeah, kids just can't be alone. They need to know where you are at all times. He's a good kid. He's a lot like me, very, very personable kid. Likes to hang out with people, loves sports. I'll tell you right now, let's write this down on, what is it, the 8th of April, 2019. Let's see where he's going to be. Hopefully be in a time capsule somewhere, right?
I love that, yeah.
So he does, like I say, he doesn't really use technology, but he loves to draw. He loves to read. He loves to play sports. He loves to cook with my wife. I mean, he loves all this stuff, right?
Awesome.
And I'm like, he loves music too. So music, as we're both wearing rock shirts today.
Yeah.
The power of music is big for me. It got me through all those bad things when I went through my life. Everything. Layoffs, cancer, bullied, everything. That music got me through all of it.
Yep.
And I try, and now I'm passing that down to my son. Right now, he's listening to Elvis and the Black Crowes. He's listening. He loves Elvis. I hear "It's All Right, Mama" like I'm listening to all the time. But just to pass that down, like my parents listen to Motown. They listen to 8 tracks, and they got, you know what I mean. So just down and down and down. And like even right after I had my cancer treatment, I went to a metal show. And Kill Switch Engage, like really hardcore metal. But the thing is, that was like the way I just got all the bad energy out of me.
That's why I asked you if you played sports back in the day. Let me just throw that in there, because if you can get that energy out of your body.
Yeah.
I did it through thrashing. I was, into industrial and goth and.
Oh, really? Okay. 9 Inch
Nails. Yeah. And Nine Inch Nails was like, in my back pocket all the time.
Yeah.
Because it allows you to personally, without, kicking the cat or your roommates or whatever.
In a mosh pit. Yeah.
Yes. Get that out of your body. It matters. It makes a difference.
It's great. You know, my friend and I, we go to shows. You know, this is the one my mom and his mom best friends. We grew up together and all this stuff. And you know, lives happen. We don't see each other, but we always get together for shows. And we went to see Gary Clark Jr., amazing blues guitarist. And he's one of those guys that I go see him. I'm like, you just like, wow. It's just like,
Yeah.
I'm up there bobbing, I'm dancing, I'm all weaving and all this stuff, jumping up around.
Yeah, yeah.
My buddy is too. And then we look at the crowd, we're like, there's like 10 other people moving and no one else moving. We're like, we don't think it's wrong, but people deal with it in their own ways. But that's my outlet. My wife doesn't get it. Like, if you're not a music fan, people just don't get it because it's more than just sounds coming out of her iPhone or or radio or something like that. It's spiritual. Ask the people who write the music and write the songs, you know?
Yes. I had a roommate who'd never been to a concert and she didn't own a stereo. And I was like, you are a freak to me.
Oh my God. Yeah. Who are you?
How does that happen? How do you?
I know, and I bought an acoustic guitar and I went to one lesson. I can't afford going to lessons right now because of the situation, but I'd love to go back because I really enjoyed, like, that one lesson was like, just people showing you how to play. I get it's so much easier. Like, he's like, do this, do that. And you're like, oh, okay, I get it. Because when you try to do it yourself, it's a lot tougher, I guess.
All right. So you picked up an acoustic guitar for the hell of it? And
I bought one. I have one. It's downstairs. I just need to play it more. But the one lesson I took was really awesome. So I think I need to really get back to that at some point.
Yeah.
Because, again, another outlet, right? So, again, bad energy, get an outlet. Like, if it's
true, like
doing what we're doing, right? Music, sports, traveling, hiking, working out, whatever. Find a outlet. That's it. I mean,
yeah. I had this fantasy, man, a long time ago. It's called the ARC. It's an acronym for the Anger Release Center.
I like it.
Yeah, it was a very popular chain. I franchised it in my head, and yeah. And it was a place where you could go and smash brick, china on brick, and you could, vent. You could vent. I just can't picture myself driving to the ARC, to rage about bullshit. But the analogy is still really important, and that we need a way to do that.
So what do you use? Is it music for you?
Yeah, it's dancing, and I will still go to a rave. I will still dance.
Good for you. Oh, I still like to dance too for a big white guy, but I do dance.
I love it.
Oh, I love it. I like all kinds of music too. I like dance music, hip hop. I like country. I like metal and rock are my go-tos, but I like everything. Because I think if you only like one genre, there's something wrong with you. I think you need to really, like life. Try it all. You know what I mean?
I do. And and to me, it is a poo-poo platter. I mean, I used to think that the people who grew up.
Getting hungry now. Getting hungry.
Huh?
I'm getting hungry now. I want Chinese food. You said someone.
Yeah, I mean, there's so much variety out there. I call myself the adventure mentor because if you looked at my life summary, you'd be like, "What haven't you done?" I don't do anything with blood. I can't do blood.
No, also with that too.
But other than that, as a kid, I was just like, you're supposed to find one thing and do that forever, and like that's what people are being happy about.
Yeah, no.
I don't know that I can do that. I think there's too many things to try. Like, why would you do that?
I know. And the one thing I got to do, and my dad and I are gonna go. I think going to Europe. I've never been to Europe. Okay, so to do the World War II thing because I'm a very pro. History was probably my favorite subject. I minored it in college, almost majored in it, but I did marketing.
Wow.
Probably was basically way more lucrative than history. But what I learned from it is that if people realize like the real shit people went through, they would not be bitching as much as they did. Like, especially in this country too, we have it so good.
Yeah.
It's so good in so many ways. Like, and just seeing other people not have it as good, and and you just lose that sometimes. But read about history. Like I went to some place right around here, which they have those like stone buildings from thousands of years ago. Nobody knows who made them. You know what I mean? Like, is it aliens? Is it like the Indians? No one knows. Yeah, this is the American Stonehenge. No lie, in New Hampshire.
I never heard of it.
It's in New Hampshire. Look it up. American Stonehenge. It's New Hampshire.
No shit.
And I went there, and my son and wife went. He liked because you could crawl and stuff. But I was really getting into it. Like I'll go hiking if I see something that actually has some value to me. Well, I mean, trees and stuff are cool, but if it's history, I'm like, bring me there now.
Yeah.
I'm probably gonna do a video on this actually on LinkedIn.
Cool.
It's talked about, like, so this guy came across all these structures that he had no idea who made in the 1800s. The guy who ended up buying the land and all this, and rather than embracing it and trying to figure out what it was and get scientists there, he sold the slate to a quarry, and they were taking the rock out. So they were destroying these structures, taking them out, drilling them and everything. I'm like, you gotta be kidding.
Wow.
I was talking to the president of the place, and then that was also a station for the Underground Railroad. Like, it was amazing stuff, right? So, but just to hear that they took parts of the structure that no one knew how it was formed, and you were selling because you wanted to go make money so they could build bridges down the street, blows my friggin' mind. So it's my thing is like, why don't you learn about something or try to figure something out rather than trying to profit off it?
Yeah.
Like, what is good out of it? Let's learn about this long term than profiteer off it in short term.
Yeah, and that's what you're going to love about Europe is, I mean, the sidewalks vibrate with history. And I went to the Abbey, and, Stonehenge was supposed to be all moving and stuff, and it didn't move me. It's fine. I'm all about, like, I've seen crop circles. I've walked in them. I've seen, freaking UFOs. I mean, like, I've had a lot of exposure.
No, Alexis, one quick thing. So I got to tell you, so they had this big, huge, it's like their calendar, right, at this place I went to.
Yeah.
And the guy, he went on Google Earth, took a straight line, went due east, right through Stonehenge, right through one of the rocks. And I was like, oh.
What?
I know. So, but no, to your point about Europe, I know it all began.
There's so much history there, and they built things so well. The Abbey is the property where allegedly, I mean, I wasn't there, but the story goes that that's Jesus' uncle's first church. And there's still some pews, and there's a couple walls, and I laid on the grass, and I never wanted to get up again. It felt so familiar. And what it turned out is that underneath that was some place where the nuns and stuff hid. Yeah, and psychics picked it up. My mom's a psychic and a medium, and so my exposure, to the metaphysical world is pretty big. Mm-hmm. And then I saw a psychic. They're like, yeah, you were a nun in a not too distant lifetime ago, and I was like, so I found my house,
that's where it was. I was hanging out there.
Yeah, and really busted out this time, yo.
Wow, that's crazy. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I'm not heavy into that stuff, but I'm pretty sure this isn't the first go around for a lot of us. So
no, not at all, not at all. And the linear idea is really a basic concept, but when you go over there and you feel it, you just feel the history. You feel.
I know. I got to go to Normandy. That's my big thing, Normandy, and I've read, big into history. Believe it or not, I'm big into like the German army too, about what they went through as soldiers. Like, and a lot of them just fought the war because they were fighting for Germany, not for that bad guy. They fight for their country and fight for their homes. So, and my son and I put together the World War II Lego kits together and stuff like that, which is cool. So that's a bond my dad had, I have, and bring it to my son, and hopefully down the line with his son. But went to Gettysburg, my dad too. That's holy ground, as we all know too. It's just. And big into musical history, like just history in general. Again, storytelling, right? Bring us full circle.
Yeah,
storytelling. Yeah. That's what it's all about. I mean, that's what we need to really get out of it, is to learn the learnings and not the buzzword.
Yes. So if you had 3 clients come knocking on your door, your ideal, what would they look like? What would it be like? Is it a company size? Is it what they do? Is it? I know.
Well, I just want, again, I view people I work with not as customers but partners, because I want to partner in their success. And I'm not saying that just to sound cliche and hokey.
No, I know you're not. I know you're a sincere man, and I'm sincerely throwing this out there so you can get another guitar lesson. So let's.
Yeah, I know. I want I think the best customers know that they need help, right? Because especially with social, a lot of people, as I said, think it's a magic bullet. They think it's the voodoo and the pixie dust and everything else. Yeah. But if you understand that you need to build in this online world, you need to build communities that really trust in who you are and your corporation is, rather than a faceless conglomerate. Those days are far gone. Okay, people just don't buy for people like that anymore. They buy for people. Buy local is big too now, because Bill down the country store, Gill at the at the hair salon, right? Because those people, and now those relationships are becoming like that again, right?
Mayberry.
I know Alexis down in Tennessee, right? I know Quentin up in Milwaukee now, and I know Zach over in California. Like now, you know people in the virtual small town, right?
Yes.
Yes. And that's what it is. Like, what value you bring to your customers? How can we like solve the problems for them? How can we make lives easier for them? How can we educate and make them laugh and enjoy life a little bit? You know, as well. And that's the mix you need to do. You can't just be like sales, because people are going to be like, I'm out. What are you going to do? You know, how, you know, everybody can see through people. They want content. I mean, I'm always going on Google, looking at restaurants and seeing how the reviews are. And if someone had a bad experience, how are you going in there to save the day for your customer? Because it's not just them you're saving future business too, because if you don't respond, they're not going to, people aren't going to come because you don't care.
Yeah.
You know, so, you know, that's the customer that is willing to work with me, is open-minded, and knows that they have to change with the times, right? Too many people are just stuck in the times. You have
to take in more information. There's not a big enough word for me to describe the value of my friend, coach, mentor, Lynn, and the way that we bounce things off of each other. There's not a big enough word for it. Solopreneurs, we tend to just, you know, I mean,
allpreneurs. There's allpreneurs, Joepreneur, Alexipreneur.
Well, you know, but you know, if you don't have somebody else that you can bounce stuff off of, you're limited.
Oh yeah, I use this platform as a sounding board all the time.
So being able to converse with somebody else and go an outside, like a neutral third party, the observers see more than the participants.
I guess it frosts through the tree. So yeah,
they really do. And yeah, you can come in and maybe, you know, I don't picture you holding a camera, but I would, because I like to video what people are doing. Maybe, I don't know. But
I think it's part of it, you know.
You know, you'll be looking for the good. You'll be looking for the nuggets and the things that they don't even realize that they're doing. Like, that's awesome. Like,
so a good point is the real estate industry. I'm a big Gary Vaynerchuk guy, so, you know, I just bought a house, so I just went through it. That a lot of real estate agents are not embracing social as much, and it's crazy to me because all you're doing is selling chapters to people's lives. Yeah. I said, I came up with, you are the ghostwriter to people's legacies. You really are. You think about it, you are. Right? And you should be telling those, you should be like the king or queen of Groton. Tell everybody why Groton, Massachusetts is the place to live. School systems, the history, you know, all that. We have acres and acres and acres of conservation land here. I'm like abutted to it actually. So conservation land.
Nice.
Yeah, really cool. That's why we moved here too, right? So, but that's what real estate agents and so forth. You're not selling, you know, brick and wood and glass. You're selling memories. Kids are going to be born here. Marriages. You know, you're going to have pets. You're going to have parties and graduations. Like we call HGTV does a great part of this, where they brought the people to buy the house. I know it's Hollywood, but they brought the house and then they go back a month later and just see the dream come true. You know, I go, you hand over the keys to dreams. You really are. You know, especially
and they're missing the angle on that.
I don't know. I just, you know, it isn't all about, again, it's not a transactional business anymore. It is about a relationship business, because more than likely the person I got was referred by my mother. There you go. You know, and because so it was a husband and wife team quickly. It was a husband and wife team. The wife really was talking to my wife, resonating with her, seeing what she liked, what she didn't like.
Yeah.
The husband, ex-contractor, blue-collar guy, hockey fan, talked with me, winning me over.
Yeah, there it is.
You know what I mean? That's what it's about. And then they still, even though they sold us the house a year and a half ago, I'm friends with them on Facebook. I get a text message here and there. Hey, there's a new TV on sale if you want it. Like, those little things make you remember them. And that's why if you're a real estate agent, it's about the long tail, not the short tail.
Yes.
You know?
Yes. In my promotional marketing company, I not only create cool taglines that represent the person and the brand, but little jingles along the way, memory thing.
Oh yeah, those are cool. I love doing it.
Yeah, little hooks, because there's a stat on that one, and that the average person will sell their house within 7 years, and they won't remember who they got it from.
Really?
Shocking to me. How do you forget?
It's crazy.
How do you forget?
Well, you can't forget if they're still on your radar, right?
Yeah. And I mean, how what a great job. My job is to stay in touch with people, make them feel good because I do and I love them. And like that's not hard. That just takes some intention to stay in touch with somebody on a level that they appreciate and can recognize.
Again, I think too many people are concentrating on the new customer rather than keeping the customers they had or repeat customers. I just don't understand that at all. Again, like social media, you built that community out, you built that relationship, you're going to just let it die on the vine? I don't get that. And that just shouldn't happen. You should leverage your customers, take in their feedback, take in their recommendations, and again, it's a laboratory. It's a focus group. They're right there. And more than likely, yes, they're willing to help you shape your company because they like you and they want to work with you.
Yeah, yeah. And if they are good mindset people, if you say to them, is there something I could have done better or you would like to have seen more of, they're gonna pitch in.
Constructive criticism is the best.
Yeah.
Just do it, nicely, constructive. That's why they call it constructive.
Not destructive.
If you think of the best things to slice bread, you're never going to see the things that are going wrong,
That's why it's so helpful to have a third person come in, third party, neutral third party. Yeah. That way you can let your hair down.
Totally agree. I have not enough hair to let
there's freedom in that. And then, then you can like really take a look at everything kind of objectively and go, oh, okay. All right, now I see it from your perspective. Oh, okay. I didn't even know I had that. I didn't even know I was doing that. Like that's a value.
No, right. I think that's why it's great, especially in companies that you have a good team because the feedbacks you get. Everybody has to be an active participant.
Yeah. So I want to ask you something, and I won't keep you any longer, but I could. I swear I could.
I know we are wrapping good. We got good conversation.
It's been really good. I want to ask you something, Joe. What would you do in this scenario? And if you want to, decline, that's fine. I know. And I have somebody who's a podcaster, and so like, if you saw somebody in your world who had something that didn't really shine that well on them, and they didn't ask you, so bro, what do you think of that? It's unsolicited if you gave them any insight at all.
Yeah.
See where it could hurt them. Right. Because it's not their best day. What would you do? Do you say something or don't you?
Oh, if it's going to bum them out personally? I honestly, I think if you're friends enough that whatever this person says to you shouldn't hurt your feelings because they're saying it because they care about you.
Yeah.
But
that's a bold move, isn't it?
Yeah, tough love is, it's hard sometimes to say how it is. Well, especially being in a marriage. Don't bullshit. Don't sugarcoat. Let's get to the heart of the matter. Let's try to work it out. I mean, that's it. I mean, I learned a lot. I learned a lot about cultures recently that my wife is very in the Philippines. She's very to the point. She says it how it is. She doesn't sugarcoat. She doesn't beat around the bush. It's just how it is.
Yeah.
And I found like even reading Mark Manson's book, The Subtle Art of Giving a Fuck. I don't know if you read that one, but that was
not yet. It's on the list.
You better get on the list. Yeah. He's talking about how he went to Russia and he was talking to people in Russia and they all like he got offended because they just told him how it was all the time. I think in our area in the United States it's so
you told me the truth.
Oh God, yes, this is the problem. And I'm learning more about my wife in the last probably year and a half than I did the prior 10 years we've been together. Is that it is a cultural thing that we as Americans just get sensitive to so much shit, to get hurt by so much stuff and this, that, and the other thing that you're missing the whole point of what you're trying to do. If you sugarcoat it bullshit, you're making it worse. You're making it worse down the line. Okay.
Yeah, but then that person won't be mad at you.
They won't be mad at me. Come to my party. Yeah, no, F that. I'm good.
Man, I think it's respect that you show somebody. You dare to put yourself out there, and it shouldn't be a dare. It should be expected of the people that are close to you. Yeah, but like you said, the first words out of your mouth were, how close is your friendship?
Well, and I told you that time when I wanted to check out at 16 years old, my friend said, I'll spin in your grave. He didn't sugarcoat. You're right. He didn't sugarcoat. Nope. And that, you know what? And that was the biggest, probably, biggest word said in my life to me. Wow. Besides, you have cancer. That's probably the other ones. But yeah, again, he could have been like, dude, you'll be okay. It'll be fine. And maybe it wouldn't be here. Right? So
that's right.
And that's why we're good friends.
Yeah. We want to surround ourselves with people who we trust.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. You've been an amazingly good time.
Well, thank you. You too.
It's such a good time.
I think because we're both wearing the Nirvana Led Zeppelin shirts. I think the music's just coming through us. So.
Yeah, man. You can do that, Thank you for being on Bold Movers and Shakers. I really am looking forward to seeing what develops next because
me too. Thank you.
Yeah, your authenticity is spectacular.
That's right.
And what I know, Joe, is that when we bring that to the table, it's kind of like being the first person to dance on open the dance floor.
Right.
Then it gives other people permission to be that way too. So in that regard, you really rock.
Yeah. Well, thank you. You do too. Devil horns.
Right on. And what is the best way for people to reach you?
Sure. Best place to reach me, you can check me out at valuencer@gmail.com. You can check me out on Twitter at valuencer@gmail. At Twitter, Joe Gill 88 on Twitter, and valuencer.net.
All right. So let's spell that word. It's a $10 word right now.
I know. God, it's copywritten, so it's mine. VALUENCER.
Valuencer. Okay. Yep. All right, guys, this is definitely the way to go, is providing value, being value first, and then sharing that with the rest of the world. Yeah. Joe can tell your story on social media. I can tell it, I can help you pull it out too. Between the two of us, we make a great team. It's such a pleasure to have you.
Pleasure here too.
All that stuff. Good. Rock on with your bad self. You guys tune back into Bold Movers and Shakers, where you never know who's going to be next, but they're going to be bold.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. Make it a great day, y'all. See you next time. It's Alexis, over and out. And Joe Gill, you rock. All right, bro. Fucking awesome.
Yeah, that was good stuff.
Fuck yeah.
Good flow.
All right, bro.
I really appreciate it. I appreciate I think this is even better than I could even imagine. So I really appreciate you.
Oh, man, would you write that down? I'm trying to put some testimonials together.
Just shoot me an email, remind me. I'll put something in there.
Thank you, Joe. It would mean a lot because I'm trying, people are nervous and they're like, oh, not that you were, but I try to make it easier than they ever thought it would be. And, like more fun. Oh, I meant to say that. Every day I say this, how can I have more fun today than I ever thought possible? And then I let it go and it works. It works every time.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. That's the way I look at it. Live your life to, there's too many people like in my age group that pretty much have given up and just don't like having fun and shit. And everybody's like, you go out a lot for a 46-year-old. What the fuck does that mean?
What does that mean?
I know.
I did a real quick story. I got 4 talks, my 4th talk ever. I was being paid, and I wore my 52-inch bell bottom fucking raver pants,
right,
top over it with the butterfly patch that was put on there from the cigarette burn from the week before. So I patched it up, and at the end of the talk, the lady comes up and she goes, "That was amazing. You make me believe I can do anything." And I was like, "Right on.
That's what it's about.
That's really awesome." And she goes, "But that outfit." Like, wow. And I was like, what do you mean? She goes, well, that looks good. I go, oh, thank you. Well, you kind of gave me permission, like, for women our age to wear that. I'm like, what do you mean?
What do you mean your age?
Dress like this?
What do you mean your age?
I was 36. Like, what are you talking about?
That ain't old. Christ.
Right? That was 20 years ago. I'd still wear the same outfit.
I'm 46. I act like I'm 20. So that's,
yeah.
But with the maturity of a 46-year-old, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that's how it's done.
All right.
All right, bro.
All right, shoot me an email and I'll write you up a testimonial.
Thank you so much.
All right. So are you going to is this going to be yeah, just let me know when it's posted. I want to share it, of course, and give you.
Absolutely, I will. Absolutely, I will. I'll get you all that stuff. And
good stuff.
And then you can do whatever you want with it.
Cool. That's nice of you. I appreciate it.
Of course. I mean, that's the point is I like, digital file. Go for it, man.
Yeah. So question to ask you. So I'm actually thinking about doing a podcast too.
Oh yeah.
Me and a woman I met on, I'm collaborating with on LinkedIn, kind of talking about the whole value thing and so in marketing and all this stuff. So any tips on how to start? And I know you're fairly new too. So. Yeah.
I would go. So Devi Adaya, DEVI.
Let me write all this down. Hold on one second. Yeah. Let me get this is how you're getting old when you have color coded. Calls. Okay, here we go. Hold on. It's amazing too how funny that nobody writes shit down anymore. Everybody uses their phone and stuff, and I'm like, that one time when that computer shits the better your phone does, I'll have it written down.
That's right. I got more notebooks. So Devi is she called Devi Adea, ADEA. Devi Adea has a Facebook group she just started. She just started something. She's been a podcaster for a while.
Okay.
She's called the Spiritual Entrepreneur. Her show is Spiritual Entrepreneur.
Okay.
She may not be the energy that you're looking for. I don't know, but she's just put together. So it would be really current is where I'm going. These days with things changing so quickly, if I look up something and it's from 2016, I keep looking because there's so many changes.
True story.
Yeah. So Debbie will be on the show next week. She's a sweetheart, and she's just put this in motion for people just like you who are saying, okay, I want to do this. What do I do?
And good. All right. I'll check it out.
Yeah, that's what I would do.
Yeah, if you have that, if you want to throw out an email too, I probably misspelled her five times wrong.
Debbie. Yeah,
okay.
She's a busy gal, but you can go on Facebook and you can look for her podcaster group, and you can just join that, and you'll start to get all those details, like the Blue Yeti microphone or whatever.
Yep.
And I did a bunch of research just last night looking on, what people recommend, the checklist, the podcaster's checklist. I have a client who wants me to get their marketing person on podcasts.
Oh, cool. Like, that's smart move.
I can do that.
Well, I just saw, I think Mark Metry, if you don't follow him, he's phenomenal. Humans 2.0. Literally it's going to get to the point where every company's going to have a podcast. Everybody. It's going to be almost like having a Facebook page. So awesome. I really appreciate it, Alexis. Thank you so much. Privileged.
My pleasure. Absolutely.
All right, be good.
Okay. You too.
Cheers.
Cheers.